Hello, hello. This is Tom Nowetner, the conversationalist. It's Friday. And we're here to touch on all the things funny, wonderful, and this week I got to correct a mistake. Uh, but I want you to like and subscribe and comment. I want you to use the Turn Media email address for all your comments and things because obviously what's happening is you're not commenting online. I don't know why. Plus, everybody's sending them to different emails they have, so it takes a while. So let's consolidate that down and put whatever you want in it. When you want to use the emails, use that one. I got a big I'm sorry, my Copa, to my Canadian friends that I've been hunting and fishing with for 40 or 50 years. 50 years. Uh, go three times, two times hunting and about three times fishing in Canada because I'm not far from the Canadian border. And obviously, I want to keep the Canadians happy because what if they invade? Can you imagine Canada invading America? It scares me. They're such ruthless people. So, in their honor, we're doing Labatt's Light, of course, for my surgeon. He'll appreciate that I'm doing light. And we're also doing the Crown Liquor from Canada. I started drinking this with these fools 50 years ago. So guess what? Salute, my friends. God bless you. All God's blessing. Stay well. Come back. Like and subscribe, not only to me and comment, but Aortic Hope and St. Jude's. If you got some pennies, send them to either one of those. They're both good organizations that you need to support. They do a lot of good and they reach a lot of people. Everybody who has a illness, I don't care if it's aortic or heart or whatever, the information that people discuss in Aortic Hope can help you. If you have cancer, go on Aortic Hope, send in a note, and they'll hook you up with a website that will support cancer patients. I'm going to start posting some of these uh, sites for different diseases, like Aortic Hope, only specific to cancer or Parkinson's or whatever us old people get. You know how uh, our age, our the boomers, we were taught to just suck it up, buttercup, and walk on. Well, guess what? That's bullshit. We need to, when you're ill or you're experiencing PTSD from your illness, you need a village. And at Aortic Hope, I found my village. So we're going to find villages for the rest of you guys that you're writing in. But I have cancer, but I have Parkinson's, but I have this, I have that. We'll find you somebody to go and spill your guts and knows about your disease, and you can, you know, come back to us and see what comment on how much you like it or how much you don't like it, so we can narrow it down and just post some really good websites. That's my way of giving back because Aortic Hope Hangout did so much for me.
I would like to add one to that.
Go ahead, talk it up.
Right on. Um, the Global PAD Association. This is
Oh
peripheral
yeah,
arterial disease. Yeah,
yeah,
and
I get them all the time.
right. And Kim McNicholas, she goes for it. She really does. She is a patient advocate, and she intervened in her father in limb salvage. They wanted to amputate, and she stepped forward. She found out what was going on with the latest and greatest technologies, and she realized that there is a fast track to amputation. And so we would definitely give a shout out to the Global Heart Association, and you can find their YouTube channel at The Weight of My Heart.
Well, we'll post all the links for you guys that are computer impaired like me. I love clicking on links. It makes life so much easier than having to search it out and figure out what we're doing and where this place is, and then correlating and saving it. And as far as I'm concerned, they've made the internet too busy and too hard to navigate for us old people. Young people have no problem with, but this is new technology. I've only been here a month and only been on an actual computer for 2 years, so I'm a baby in this. Actually, I'm being tutored now. Uh, Podcasting 101. I had 5 days, and now I got 5 more days of it starting Monday. That's how rudimentary I am. Plus, I have arthritis and fat finger syndrome, so it makes it hard to type. So I'm working now to get people that I can dictate and they will type as I'm dictating. There's a program that Barbara's going to load down for me. It's on speech to text. I'm going to try it out, see if it works.
Oh, you may already have a lot of that on your computer.
Yeah, we'll look for it. It's just something, I have all these people in my life that problem solve for me. I give them the problem, they solve it. I'm lucky that way.
Yeah, I
So I
remember.
shout it out to the Canadians. So don't shoot me when I come up in November. Even on a fucking act. Oh, excuse me. Yeah, damn, there goes a more twice. Frogging around, thinking a joke out of it. You shoot me in the ass, I'm really going to be pissed off. So one of the things that people liked about last encounter was the movie. I just referenced the movie, and everybody got all excited. Now it's funny. It's not the old people got excited because they watched all these movies. It was like Generation X. I don't believe in Generation Millennials, and there was a lot of Generation Z. I was pretty surprised. So I'm going to give you movies. Now your assignment is to watch them and comment on them, and send me your comments. Or an email even, however it works for you best. So are you ready? We're going to do the three movies. The first one is Casablanca. Now, Casablanca was made in 1942, and it's about Rick and the love of his life. However, when everything shakes out in the movie, it's great dialogue, by the way. If you're going to watch it for blowing things up and people dying, don't watch it for the dialogue. It's a black and white movie, but if it was made in color, I saw somebody colorize it. It was terrible. The black and white really brings the story together. So watch it, comment on it. Let's get into a conversation about that. No arguments. 8 minutes. That's all you get. Uh, Call in. The Grapes of Wrath. Now this is a movie about the Dust Bowl and the Depression, and it shows a family of about, I think it's 11, in this old truck, and they're going from the Dust Bowl into California for jobs, and all the horrendous things they had to go through. Towns that kicked them out, people who didn't let them even get a drink of water because everybody was afraid. During the Depression and Dust Bowl, everybody was afraid because people were stealing, because their kids were hungry. People were shooting each other because their kids were hungry. I'm telling you that if the next Civil War or World War III comes, it's going to be over food. Mark my words. So that's the second one, Grapes of Wrath. Now, let's talk about the last one. And I watched all these movies as a young man with my uncles and my dad. And and the reason we watched them was they would talk through the movie and tell me what this meant and how this man he found his true love, but there was a greater good that he had to do. And he did it. He did the right thing, not the thing he wanted to do. And Grapes of Wrath is about the turmoil and the perseverance Americans during the Dust Bowl. Now, 12 Angry Men I watched. This taught me a lot about jury and the court system. 12 Angry Men is about one person who stands up to 11 other people because he has the conviction of his thoughts and reasoning. It taught me that even if the crowd is against me, I have to speak my truth. I don't change my truth because of 11 people around, and I fight for my truth. Now, to all my Z's and alphas, I know that that's not something you're trained to do anymore. Everything's about touchy feely, safe places, multi genders, genders, pronouns. That's a good one. I love pronouns. Yeah, they tickle me. I had somebody in the doctor's office about a week ago correct me about their pronoun, and I was like, "They what?" He said, "Yeah, I want my pronoun is Miss." This guy had a 3-day beard. Just because he had a dress on, I'm not gonna. Your psychosis is not gonna affect my life. I'm sorry. So I just called it for the rest of the time we were in. He tried to interact with me. I just called him it. Got pissed off and went to the other side of the waiting room. I don't know. I have that effect on people. Like, I don't call 911. I call 811 because I need to know where to dig to get rid of the body. That's a joke. Yeah, I didn't think you guys would get it. The boomers are laughing their asses off, but everybody else is going, "What the hell did he say?" All right, so you know, he did say 8 minutes, 1,200 to 1,500 words. You know, otherwise you're going to repeat yourself, and I turn off when you start repeating yourself. So does everybody. We told you about the new emails, right? Right there. What else? Shout out. So Rockies in Syracuse, news and cigars. Rockies in Syracuse, New York, cigars, newspapers, cigar lounge. You can bring a bottle in. You can get a really good espresso. They have outside tables. So if you're in the Syracuse area, hit me up and I'll meet you at Rockies. It's only an hour from my house. San Diego, San Diego's in Rochester, but that's too far away for me to meet up with people unless I'm meeting up with a group. But that's another one. And the reason why I picked those is because they hand roll their cigars right in house. So I can order Nicaraguan filler with a Pennsylvania wrapper. And I order a box of 20. And it takes him a couple of days, but he'll box it up and I'll stick it in my humidor for about 2 years and I'll start smoking. So when you're picking out a cigar store, make sure you pick out one that has an in-place roller. Follow the wonderful person. I don't know where he learned his craft, but whoever taught him his craft taught him how to roll a cigar and never find any hot spots, never find any veins, and his scars stay clean all the way to the end. So if you're in the area, give them a shout. Plus, they're going to put me on their website, so can't beat that, right? With a stick for nothing. Uh, Friday's always loose and free, so got some videos for you. Comment. Josh has cut them down to a reasonable amount of time. So he's going to put up the first video and,
Whoa, I did not cut any of them down.
oh, okay, I'm
I
sorry.
was ready to just
I,
play what we
I
wanted to
spoke,
see.
I spoke out of school. Salute, Scott, Wizard. Hey, you got a drink today or not?
I'm drinking Diet Dr. Pepper.
See, from now on Fridays, you have to be drinking. If you're not, we'll replace you with AI.
I will update that in my contract. And I must say, you're not going to like what it is that I enjoy right now when it comes to drinking. You're also going to call it very sissy. If you have ever heard of whipped cream flavored vodka, it tastes like a vanilla milkshake.
Yeah, my wife drinks it.
A little over ice, perfect, perfect. No added anything, just
See,
that.
I didn't call you a sissy, Mary. I was good. But you're drinking the same drink that my wife drinks.
She's
So you
good
take it from
taste.
there.
She's got great taste.
Yeah, sissy Mary. So anyway, so he's going to put up a video, tell me what it's about, and I'm going to comment on it because I can't see the
You
video.
guys shot this
You have a
guy
problem.
68 times.
We have to fix because the IT guy's too busy. The wizard is too busy.
Yeah. So the first one here will be Patrick Bet David.
About
Okay.
what? I know who made the video, but
Oh,
what's it about?
oh.
You guys shot
Most savage sheriff in Florida.
Oh yeah, that's a good one. Play that one.
this guy 68 times. And when the media
When
asked
it's
you,
done, I got
why
great
shoot him
story.
68 times? Your answer was, we ran out of bullets. We would have shot
See,
him
these
more.
are
Where does
videos
that
I
come
want you to
from?
put
This
my
guy
face in
shot
so
and
I can
killed our
talk to you
canine,
about
shot
it.
and killed our canine handler, shot the backup deputy. Then he pointed the dead deputy's gun at a SWAT team. What do you
Let me know
think's
when
going to
it's
happen?
done.
You're going to get shot a lot. You're going to get shot so much you can read the Sunday New York Times through you. And that's what happened.
You guys shot
Did
this.
I tell you I'm babysitting the grand dog?
You did
Weekend?
not. Whoops. Okay, and we're back to you.
All right. Well,
So that was the
that is the most
68
vicious.
times, right?
Yeah, that's the most vicious sheriff I've seen in a long time. Talk about a kickback to the 70s. See, in the 70s, we carried 38s, and then they switched us over to 357s, and some of them had 6 shots, and some of them had 8 shots.
What
So
do
you
you
had
think
to
the highest?
reload with speed loaders to get that many bullets out of your gun. Now they got guns that shoots 16 and one in the chamber. So 68 sounds like a lot, but it's just 4 guys, and their service uh, automatic. So even though it sounds like a big number, it really isn't in the heat of battle. When in the heat of battle, and especially because this guy killed a canine and he killed a couple of cops, and he was using the gun from one of the cops to shoot at the other cops. I don't think 68 is excessive. I think they put him down. Everybody had the same reasoning. They started shooting. When you're in that situation, you really don't have a sense of time. You know that when that automatic clicks, you got to put in a clip. From what I understand from the body cam video, the guy was standing the whole time he was getting shot, and he still had the gun in his hand. In fact, they had to ship him. They took the clip out and they took the bullet in the chamber out, but they couldn't get his hand off the gun. They had to do that at the coroner's office. That's the backstory. So when he died, he had such a grip on the gun, he didn't get rid of it.
Damn. It only makes sense that you're going to keep going until you run out in a situation where somebody keeps shooting back, though. It's weird that some people
It
question
isn't.
it.
It isn't there that they didn't shoot because they can shoot back. That snipers
No, no,
get
no.
a 3 shot.
I'm saying that police officers will continue to shoot as long as they are
Oh
getting
yeah,
shot back. Yeah.
as long as the suspect doesn't drop the gun, you're gonna get shot. So anyway, what's the second video and put it up?
So we're going to put the next one up, and this is Mike Tyson and pigeons.
It's self-explanatory.
Pigeon in the,
Whatever.
All
Put
right.
it up.
All right, here we go. Let's go.
what do you think the highest pigeon in the world costs?
The $872 range.
$2 million.
No freaking
Look it up.
way.
Look it
That's
up.
more than a Steph Curry rookie card.
Look it up, baby. Look it up, baby. I'm in the right business. What do you think the
Look it up, baby. Look it up. I'm in the right business. A pigeon, $2 million.
So I've met Mike Tyson a half a dozen times at boxing matches and at a convention one time. He seems like a pretty decent person. Had a pretty rough life starting out. Gus D'Amato really took him under the wing and straightened his ass out. And as soon as Gus died, he started acting like a fool. And then after going to prison, he realized that's the wrong road. Came out, educated, got an education, and started talking to people about how to convey his thoughts without punching people in the face. And so he's turned out to be a pretty decent human being. That being said, he's got a history that nobody should forget.
I can agree with that. Did you know that he has a cartoon?
Oh yeah,
The
oh
Mike
yeah.
Tyson mysteries they're fantastic.
Put the link up and let everybody see it.
Let me see if I get something situated here.
So let's do this. Let's get back on subject and deal with why I selected that video. Now, my uncles all had pigeons. My grandfather, German grandfather, not the Italian, had pigeons. My Italian grandfather would steal the pigeons and eat them. It was kind of a funny joke in the family. My German grandfather would raise them, and my Italian grandfather would eat them, which he did for years, and they got away with it. I don't know.
I remember when I
So,
introduced Mike Tyson Mysteries to a buddy of mine. We got through the whole episode, and he looks at me, the first episode, and he goes, "There's just no way Mike Tyson is voicing that." And right there, in that moment, they do the old school Warner Brothers, like curtains draw back, and there's like that like red circle that's got the shadows of the different rings going around it, and it's Mike Tyson in the middle going, "Thanks guys for coming out and watching my cartoon."
yeah, terrific.
Absolutely
That's
perfect.
wonderful. The first thing I'm going to tell you about this cigar, it doesn't stay lit. And that's because it's probably too raw. It needs a couple of years of my humidor to dry out and get right. So this cigar, I give it like a 7 out of 10. It'd probably be an 8 or a 9 out of 10 in 2 years. So into the spittoon it goes.
That's
So the
wonderful to
next
learn.
cigar we're going to try is a Pennsylvania Match. Now you saw me smoke this a couple of times. The cigar that the Pennsylvania miners would use to light the dynamite. And the one by the wall would be a 4 foot uh, thing to light 4 foot long cord, and then every one got shorter as they ran out of the mine. Basically, so they would go off at the same time. They would use one of these to light it as they ran by. That being said, these crazy fools would drop a cigar or something and actually stop and pick it up so they could light the rest of them. Not me. I'm running like a son of a gun.
And this is Rocky's uh,
Well, now this is Pennsylvania from Pittsburgh.
Pennsylvania.
This is a 93-year-old guy who's finally teaching his grandson how to make them. Because at 93, I hope to see him in at the ice water concession in hell. But that's another story, right? The ice water concession in hell. So my whole thing with Mike Tyson is, you think at $2 million for a pigeon is a lot. It's really not.
Should I be looking up how long pigeons live?
I don't care. What do I care? I don't care how long they live, just how much money they make me. And yes, I bet on pigeon races. I bet on anything. I'll bet on how many poops you take in a day. See, I cleaned that up really nice. Give me some credit. I'm lighting with matches today because my grandson did not fill my lighters, and I can't use those picks anymore because of my arthritis. But I can use Zippos. But I tried 2 Zippos I have out here on the back porch. Neither one of them worked. so it sucks to be me.
All right, so we have here 5 incredible facts about pigeons.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
Okay, pigeons have outstanding vision. Pigeons are respected in a number of religions. Pigeons are used to save the lives of people. I want to find out more about that. Pigeons are a part of human history, which is to say everything is part of human history. That is a gimme. And pigeons are also kept as domesticated birds, which I assumed.
Yeah, the guys had coops on the roofs, buildings in the city. Some of them were dirt ugly and dirty and ugly, but my uncles had, you could eat in these coops. They kept them so clean. They were really proud of their pigeons, and they would race them one Saturday through their association. And it was always exciting to see it happening. And they have a laid out course, obviously, that they had people in the old days with binoculars, and every pigeon had a band. Say you were from uh, Mike's pigeon group, he had a certain color scheme. So these guys with binoculars. Nowadays they have cameras to track the pigeons. Anyway, I digress again. That's enough about.
I have an answer here.
Go ahead.
As many as 500,000 homing pigeons accompanied soldiers, sailors, and pilots in a battle, delivering military intelligence and distress messages that saved thousands of lives. Right away,
See?
amazing.
It screwed up. I'm assuming that everybody knows about pigeons. Because my age, everybody knew about pigeons. But the Z's and alphas don't. So obviously, that's why you're here, to remind me that I'm talking to people that don't know what I'm talking about. Talking about a bird that used to take messages in World War One, in the Civil War, in the World War One and World War Two. Even in World War Two, they used them. Not only did they bring messages, but they brought medical supplies, morphine ampules.
Oh yeah, light stuff to bring. So it's interesting for those of you that might not know the applications of these things. We're talking about Game of Thrones and the way they're always sending the crows, right?
Right.
So in the show, they're like, oh, send a crow, and that was your use of pigeons, homing pigeons,
Well,
doing the exact same thing. But I guess pigeon doesn't
Game
go
of
so
Thrones
well.
had they couldn't say pigeon because it's not masculine, so they had to say crows. But crows do not operate like pigeons. Crows would take whatever band you put on their legs apart and then try to trade it for some food. We have crows here that, for one reason or another, we're not shooting. They come down and actually bottle caps, corn. It's the weirdest thing. They trade for food. Crows are very intelligent birds, but they do a lot of destruction to trees and barns, and wherever they go, they're very evasive. So we shoot a lot of them, but there are a few that we let fly around because they're pretty funny. Oh God, what else? I did all the things I wanted to, but we got one more video. What's that one about? By the way, to all my Canadian friends, I hope I make amends. I hope I can go into Canada without any problems, but I will definitely go next time with a vest on, just because I don't trust you. You on the outside are very nice people, but on the inside, you got a mean streak. Look at the way you're treating your prime minister. What a jerk he is. Justin Trudeau. He's a piece of shit.
This one will take up the full screen.
Hold up. Tell me when
you're
it
just not
starts
gonna,
and when it ends.
Yeah, I'm gonna hit
And what
play
it's
now.
about.
This is Life is Short.
For some reason
There
I'm
we
missing
go.
my mouth today.
And we're back. And yeah, that's hilarious. I like that cut.
All right. So I'm going to switch it up a little bit. I critique the other two videos. Give us your critique.
My critique of Sopranos.
Oh, the video you just watched.
That was James Gandolfini doing
Right.
the lovely juxtaposition of being a nice guy while doing the very dirty deeds of running an under a gray market syndicate. I think
Well, that's that balance, right?
that's
You get,
hilarious.
at times in life, you have to be this terrible person, but most of the time, you're just a normal guy trying to get along, get out, get things done, and make a little money. But, there's a dichotomy there that everybody should know about. And once again, my friends at my Z's and Alphas, I'll do a video. That's another story about that so that you can understand during the 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, even into the 90s, that conflict you had when you were the boss of a crew. And a crew is just a family, a capo, someone higher, and they have a crew under them of soldiers. Now, most of these capos will be full-blooded Italians, but underneath the capos are going to be soldiers. And you just have to understand that when you're a soldier, you can be anybody, like half Italian, quarter Italian, no Italian, white, black, Spanish, because everybody had a place in making money, and that's all it was about, making money. It originally started about protecting the neighborhood when they first came over here in the 1900s, early 1900s, 1910, 1920. And New Orleans crowd hung 11 Italians. That's when the mafia really came to fruition, and they were just solely a protection agency. You paid them to protect you. Then they got into gambling and women and all the other bullshit. But they stayed out of drugs. I gotta give them credit. They stayed out of drugs for a long time, so it got too tempting. But Gandolfini shows you the newer. He shows you the mafia from like the 90s to 2000. 2000 to today is very different. More like a corporation. As soon as they got rid of the Teflon Don Gotti, they went back to, everything was secret, nobody knows about it, and then nothing in the newspaper. You don't go out flashing yourself. Best you're going to do is a Lincoln or a Cadillac. You don't go around Mercedes. You don't definitely wear $3,000 suits. These guys are in track suits, leisure suits, whatever you want to call them. And they're businessmen. And of course, there's a violent aspect. But the business that they're in, that you need that violent aspect. Because you don't, in the beginning, back in the 30s and 40s, when the commission and the five families came together, they had a rule. Dead people don't pay. And then they lost track of that in the 70s, 80s, and 90s, and then they brought it back. You don't kill people who owe you money because you don't get any money back. You understand that premise? It's important that you understand that, because that will tell you more about the mafia than all the videos you're going to watch and documentaries and people telling you. And I did a video on the difference between gangsters and mafia. And then this week on Sunday, I'm going to do the Black Hat. And that will be my experiences from about the age of 12 to when I got out at 19 and 20. But it's an interesting period in my life, and I'll give you an insight on how you're recruited and how things are done and what I was trained to do. And it's very interesting, but I'm going to come in a suit, vest, a black funeral suit, my fedora, and we're going to talk realism, because I lived it. Everything I'm telling you is what I lived. I'm not telling you what I read or what I watched on a video. I'm telling you I lived through. You get in firsthand. Why am I doing that? Because guess what? There's so much misinformation on the internet that you've got to be very selective about what you learn, what you think, and what you watch. Don't go with anybody who's 40 years old, 50 years old, and telling you about the 50s and 60s. They weren't there. I was there. So I was looking for a way to monetize my time as I get older and feeble. And this was perfect. It fits right in. Josh was kind enough to walk me through it and assist me as the producer. I thank him and God for him every day. I got a wife who supports any crazy idea that I have, which is wonderful. But she's on a week-to-week contract because she's an Irish witch. Red hair, green eyes, ugly woman, but ugly woman. The woman stops clocks and people on the streets. She's so butt ugly, but she's a good woman, so I keep her around week to week. Uh, you'll see a video. She does a care video. What do they call it? Caregiver video. So look her up, Erin Kavanaugh, mean, ugly witch. But she took care of me, so that's all that I care about. Hopefully, Josh can make her sound reasonable. He did a lot of rants and raving.
This I'm telling you, what I'm doing is I'm trying to put all three pieces of these videos into something rather than just the one, because we have some expansion in some areas that I want to be able to go to. But the third video pulls everything together. It's very nice.
Yeah, you got to say that because she cuts the checks as a CFO right now. So you can butter up all you want. Suck ass. All right. So, let's round this out on some upbeat notes. The polls are looking good for Trump. Which one did you follow? But I still think Kamala Harris is going to win. I think that she's giving away the farm and she's promising everybody. And Trump's talking about, we're not going to do this, we're not going to do that. Kamala Harris talking about sending more aid to Ukraine and Israel, and Trump saying, no, Ukraine is going to stop killing people on both sides. And as far as Israel, Trump said a couple of different things, so I don't know where he really stands, but I think he's going to tell Israel either settle this or you're not going to get anything from the U.S. anymore. And neither one of those hurt my feelings because I think Israel is taken advantage of. They even spy on us. So for Trump to shut that money hole down is no problem for me. I think that it's well needed. And I think that his idea about shrinking the government and putting back the powers to the state is very good. Kamala Harris is talking about expanding the federal government and printing more money, and that scares me to death. Not for me, not for my children, not for my grandchildren. My great grandchildren are going to still be paying off this $1 trillion debt. I know everybody wasn't taught economics like I was taught in the 60s and 70s. I was going through school. But you should click on the Tom Sowell and you'll get the link. I mean, this guy is probably how old he is. I met him back when I was going to school for my master's. He was a professor of mine and got to make a relationship and kept it. I mean, it isn't a close relationship. It's just one of me following him and asking questions, and because I believe he's the smartest man on the planet right now, or not. Even Elon Musk is a very smart man, but he's mechanical and he's forward thinking. And Tom was telling you about the president. He's the one that educated me about how the Great Society screwed us up in '63. He educated me about the financial downturn in '74 that took 10 years to really downturn. He taught me about the breakup of the nuclear family by the Great Society. This guy every word he said is gold. I mean, when you watch his videos or read his books, read every word. Don't don't fast read it, because every word is gold that this man writes. So there's my recommendation for books. It's Tom Sowell. Please look him up, Google him, tell me what you think. Guy's an amazing person. I don't know how his brain stays in his head, because probably got an IQ of around 200, and he can. And the good thing about it is he can take a complicated issue and bring it down to reasonable words and understand it. So salute Tom. Plus, he has a good name, Tom. Come on, Tom's got to stick together. All right. So, we've got about 15 minutes left, so I figure, and I want to do some house clean. Uh, it's funny that nobody showed up tonight because it's homecoming. I forgot. We have a big football game tonight, and a parade, and homecoming queen and king and all that stuff here at the local high school. So, we usually go there, and if I had thought about it, I would have podcast from there, because they do have a couple of booths that you can use, and they're not all used. Have the local stations that use one, and we have radio in another one, but there's two more that I could have got in and did the podcast from there. But because I'm new and I don't plan ahead, I didn't do it. The one demerit for me. 8 minutes, that's all you have. Some of you guys are writing dissertations. I don't read them. Sorry. I read about 1,200 words of it. And then anything after that, it might be great information, but I don't get to it. So if you keep it to 12 to 1,500 words, you might get it. I might read the whole thing. If you're going to give me a video, keep it to 8 minutes, because after 8 minutes, I click them off, because I figure if you can't get it down to 8 minutes, you've got a problem. You're going to repeat yourself, and I don't want to hear you repeating yourself, because I've already have the response formula in my head as you're talking. We had a new business expansion in Ireland, and we have the launch next month in November of Karen Media. Basically, Josh is going to be in charge of, and he's going to have his minions to do his bidding. Got 4 people hired already on scene, producers and cameramen. So Josh will get to meet them at the corporate meeting, and so then he'll march those soldiers around, and we're going to do commercials and presentations, and going to be on one stop for podcasters, people who don't want to do what I went through, the torture that Josh put me through, because he's the wizard, twisting my tit, how to podcast. These people will come into the studio, we'll record them, we'll clean it up, and we'll post it for them. So it's one stop shop. Doing it, taking all this mystery out of it. They're going to, I know there's billions of people podcasting, but there's a lot of people that are intimidated like I was. So we're going to make a one-stop shop. So we're giving Josh another job. We're going to compensate him for it, probably give him 2.5 cents an hour or something like that. But, we're going to pay him big bucks.
I'm getting that that very far, what is it, Eastern European salaries?
Well, it was more like Thailand or Vietnam. Anyway, so we're planning some out.
Do I get to work from Thailand or Vietnam? We might be on to
You
something.
can take a trip wherever you want. The company has a credit card, and we get miles, and you'll have access to that. So, yeah, and just remember, you got to answer to the Irish witch with red hair and green eyes and lightning bolts in her face. So I don't care what you do.
I'm
I'm
just
on
gonna
to the next
use
project.
my standard go-to. Tom told me I could.
Well, everybody uses that. That's not going to phase her. She's going to look at you and say, bullshit. Everybody tries that one sometime during the day for years or months, whatever. Everybody tries to go down that road. She'll call you on it real quick. So we're planning a trip to Italy next September. We got some trips to Ireland that we'll be podcasting from. I've got some more fishing dates that I'm going to podcast from. Guess what, guys? My summer kitchen is done, other than the painting. Yeah, they got everything working. I can start broadcasting from the summer kitchen. Now, I'm not allowed in the kitchen upstairs, so you know that. The kitchen, the summer kitchen I have windows because my property's on a hill and the basement looks out. So I got a lot of natural light, which is nice, basement. So we'll be able to podcast from there. And I've already warned everybody that if I'm up at 2 o'clock in the morning, I'm going to podcast. I'm going to record myself doing something, watching a movie, talking to friends, or cooking something. Because I was a chef owner for many years. Going to try to get my friend Rob, the chef, to come in, help me out because he's an amazing chef. He did something that I couldn't do. He taught many years. I only taught 2 classes, Introduction to Commercial Kitchen. I taught it one semester because I couldn't believe how stupid the word that came in. So I figured I'd go to the 4th year, Advanced Commercial Kitchen. It was for the people who want to be the next Emerald Lagasse. And I only taught one semester because I found out that 4 years was as stupid as the 1 year. I couldn't tolerate it. People asking me how many ounces in a cup.
Do you see a space in personal chefs growing with
Oh yeah,
this whole gig culture?
all the rich people. We don't cook for parties anymore. We call in a professional chef. We make them do, you know, demonstration cooking. It's the same premises as chef's table, the 50s, 60s, and 70s. And it's the same principle, but that's another story. I'll tell you about chefs sometime if I like it.
I'm excited to know more about this. I have a friend, one of her very close friends is a personal chef, and she works constantly. So I'm very interested to find out how she's doing things.
I always get uh, requests, but right now I'm only doing like farmers markets. I go in on a Saturday and I do sandwiches, Philly sandwiches. So I do the dishes for the South because I spent 7 years in Tennessee. I had a restaurant down there. We were just moving out of New York State. But when I got sick, I had to move back to New York State because other than the University of Tennessee Medical School, it's a medical desert down there. I never, for the 7 years, never had a GP down there. And that's really hard to work within the system if you don't have a GP for referrals. Once again, I'm just a 73-year-old trying to get my voice out there and tell you from firsthand knowledge, right? It's important that you get the facts and the honest facts. Now, everything I tell you is my point of view, right? Obviously, I lived it, I experienced it. So, the fat white guy is going to tell you what he experienced. And you're not going to agree with me a lot of it. You're going to call me on a lot of it, but that's okay. It's part of the education process, which we don't have now. That confrontational education doesn't happen anymore because we're in this woke society where everybody's in a safe space and peeing in litter boxes. you know, I saw somebody sent me a video about another furry, and they sued and they got the right to pee in a litter box at their corporation. Now that's a mental illness as far as I'm concerned. Anyway, looks like we've got about 8 minutes to uh, wrap this up. I'm looking forward for you guys to use the new email Josh put up in the link, so I get everything in one place. Because right now I need to check eight emails every day, which is tough. Also, I want you to understand that as much as I like doing this, I'd rather do it interactive. So start getting online when I'm live, or start reacting to my videos so that I can bring you on board and we can have a discussion. Remember, I'm a conversationalist. I'm not a person that argues. I don't dominate conversations to make you believe what I believe. That's not the way I roll. I roll. I put out my view. You put out your view. We either agree or agree to disagree. But we don't yell at each other. We don't call each other stupid, unless you really are. So that's why I'm here. That's the ground rules. Getting dark, but I planned it this way. I wanted you to see here in upstate New York that we're getting darker, and it's going to go down to 48 degrees, so I'm going to start a fire. A wood stove, just take the chill off the house because I don't want to crank up the dirt. Well, most of you, we warm the house by wood stove. Every once in a while, when it gets too cold, you'll hear the heater click on, but not a lot. Because wood burns pretty hot, about 1,800 degrees, so warms the whole house. And I live in the small house now, not the big house, because son lives in the big house because he's got little kids. Got one that just came out of the Marines. His name is Josh. Pretty cool, huh?
He's
It's
probably
like
the
the live.
coolest one.
Nah, just the toughest one. But I'm proud of all my grandchildren. I wish I could figure out how to have them without my children. You didn't get that joke, huh? That's all right.
I was trying to do the evolutionary math.
I got kids from 5 to, 55 to, I can't even tell you Ryan's birthday. Isn't that weird? I know it off the back of my hand, but I can't think about it now. He's the youngest of the kids, but I don't have a relationship with a lot of them because I like my grandchildren better than my kids. Now, speaking of grandchildren, you have to understand I have 2 levels of grandchildren: biological and neighborhood. So I don't differentiate when I'm talking about Sarah or Molly or whomever. They're all my grandchildren, just not some of them are biological, and I've adopted them. And when you adopt them, you obviously adopt their families. And one of the things about Italians, we love to have company, especially at dinner time. So all the kids know if they drop in, I have a pie or a cake or some kind of pastries that they can grab, cookies, whatever. And worst comes to worst, I just put them in the kitchen and tell them to. I give them a recipe and say, "Here, make a mess and do this." When the redhead comes home, I'm going to plead the fifth. It's all on you guys. So
Your
we
secret is
do.
safe with me.
Yeah, everybody knows I don't take the blame for nothing. It's everybody else's fault. So we got like 4 minutes left. And Josh, fill the 4 minutes. Ask me questions. Tell the people how wonderful I am, and I'm doing
Oh,
good at the
you are
101
wonderful.
podcast.
That is for sure. You're definitely wonderful. So let's talk about what we have
But
coming up this week. So Sunday for Cigars and Stories. Are we gonna go and continue the saga of gangsters
yeah,
versus mafias, or
right. We're gonna round that off, and I'm gonna come in as 1968 to 1960 and 1970
all right?
in my full gangster outfit, and we'll explain how people were introduced to the mafia and how they brought you in. Of course, I wasn't full blood Italian; I was only a soldier. And then I realized that there was another way to make money, and because grew up in the restaurant industry, I didn't want to go that route. A friend of mine was taking the New Jersey State Correctional Officers test, civil service test. So I said, "Yeah, I'll go with you." I took it and I aced it, so wound up in Department of Corrections, and then that exploded into other fields because I was too stupid to be smart. And then I realized that I was making money, hand over fist between 63 and like 1980. And I bought bars and restaurants and cleaned them up and sold them. And people destroyed them. That's another story. We'll talk about buying restaurants and bars and then reselling them. Like I said, we've got 6 boys and 1 girl, and we have 10 grandchildren. Henry's the youngest. Oh, no, that's not true because Madeline just had a baby. She's the neighbor. So the grandchildren, now I have 11. But I have more than that because of the neighborhood kids. I don't have a full count. Isn't that terrible? But they come over and I feed them cookies and sugar and send them home. All right, like and subscribe. But don't just like and subscribe and comment to me. Do it for St. Jude. Do it for
Aortic Hope.
Aortic Hope. Wonderful people. I can't tell you how much they changed my life. If it wasn't for them, I wouldn't be sitting here today because I wouldn't have met Josh, and all this good shit that's happening to me wouldn't have happened.
That's
So I
another one
want
for
you to
St. Jude.
understand. It's an understanding that I'm doing this for a purpose. Aortic Hope and all that. We're going to start a bonfire in about 10 minutes, and we're going to toast marshmallows and drink wine and tell lies. So God bless you. I love you all. You are the most important people in my life at this stage of my life at 73. The wizard keeps me on track and is teaching me, and I have a lot to learn, and I understand that. And they even have me going for speech therapy analysis. How do you like that? Because I slur my words, and I think it's because of my dissection, but they're telling me it's just because I'm old that I'm not enunciating. How do you say that word? Enunciating. Yeah, and
Enunciating.
I'm slurring some words, but then again, it's because of my age or my drinking. So get used to it. Josh, like and subscribe, comment, tell the people where they can go, and kick me off the air.
Right on. And don't forget, you can use the new email address, terranmedia@onecloud.us. Try to get all your questions in there. That'll get them everywhere. You're going to see links up on the YouTube channel for Instagram and Reddit. We're getting a bigger social media presence underway. And don't forget to, like you said, like and subscribe. And most importantly, share. Sharing is caring.
Oh, well. Now you gave me another thing to say. You just gave me comment. Now you're giving me share. God, I'm going to have a cardboard with this all written down so I don't forget any of it. This is getting to be a job. I thought it was going to be fun, but it's really a job. All right. Love you guys. Go do something good for somebody. Do an act of kindness. It will make you feel good. And it will make them feel good. And it can be as small as paying a quarter at Aldi's for their card or giving them the card you use. Old people love that when they give them a free card. I do. Especially if they give it to me when I'm at my truck, so that way I don't fall down halfway to the store. Because I like using the cards as balance. God bless you. God bless Josh. He's not only a great producer, but a good friend. And see you on Sunday.
And you're out.